Full and uncut versions available on Patreon. Check in the description below.
Greetings once again, Pokemaniacs. Duuz-Diz-Din back with more of the Pokemon Adventures manga. The Adventures of Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, where previously, while venturing past the snowy region of Sinnoh, on her way to her individually designated lake, Platinum ends up, getting a little too cold because she's underdressed while practicing skiing, only to be saved by the gym leader Candace. Since Candace's gym is on her way, she ends up meeting Maylene, who's a friend of Candace. And while she wants to go in and thank Candace, he ends up in a gym battle, which is fine. She also needs Candace's permission in order to go to the lake. After a fierce battle and Platinum showing off her newestly captured Pokemon Lopunny, she manages to defeat Candace, with Candace already knowing from Byron about the machinations of Team Galactic. So it ends up being a team-up between Platinum, Maylene, and Candace to check out this lake. Meanwhile, after Pearl saves the Steelworks owner, Mr. Fuego, he looks over the list of parts that Fuego was made to make for Team Galactic, finding that only one galactic bomb could actually produce from the parts that they ordered. Knowing that something's up, he returns to the bike shop owner, who was previously captured and freed by Cynthia. The two discuss things for a second and realize there's something greater going on. So Rad Rickshaw decides to team up with Pearl in order to investigate further, only for them to seemingly be followed, or at the very least, have some dubious forces of Team Galactic going the same way as them. What'll happen next? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, chapter 53. Licking Lickitung. Friggin' Lickitung. One of the weirder Pokemon. Okay, so we're finally picking back up with Diamond. Their narration says, Diamond, Dia for short, is a Pokemon trainer out on his own now to put a stop to Team Galactic's evil plan. Having completed his training on Iron Island, he sets his sights on Lake Verity. With his Pokemon companions by his side, he finally reaches Jubilife City. Okay, as we have Diamond making his way with his Pokemon, he comes to a forest saying, what the? It's a dead end. Did I take the wrong turn somewhere? Oh, I was supposed to take a left back there. Oh god. The narration that says, I take that back. Now he reaches Jubilife. And Diamond and his Pokemon say, we made it. He then thinks to himself, this is where I entered the next generation comedy Grand Prix with Pearl, and where we met Lady for the first time. After all the places I've been, I'm right back where it all started. He then says, okay, let's get a move on. Not much further till Lake Verity. But first, lunch. Yahoo! But unknown Pokemon, who is probably a Lickitung, is watching from the sidelines. Is he gonna capture a Lickitung? And it makes sense for a glutton like Diamond and his Pokemon. Yep, and the Lickitung is definitely snatching the rice balls he and his Pokemon are eating. Diamond says, let's see now. Once we get through Jubilife City, there's Sand Gem Town and Twinleaf Town. I wonder what's the best route. Not very good at reading maps. As he's reaching for his rice balls, he finds that nothing's there, going, huh? They're gone. My rice balls are all gone. How? Where'd they go? And then the map gets taken as well. He turns saying, huh? Now my town map's gone too? He and his Pokemon rush around in a circle, but he stops and he says, oh well, at least I got some other food. As he reaches for some remaining rice balls his Pokemon were eating. As he munches down, he says, somebody must have been real hungry. Munch, 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 chew, chew, chew. He then jumps up saying, but you can't eat a town map. I get lost even with a map. Shit. Dude, same, honestly. At this rate, I'll never get to Lake Verity. We have to get that map back. Everybody, keep an eye out for the culprit. As he rushes down the streets of the city, he ends up bumping into an old man and 3 clowns? The man says, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm ever so sorry. Are you all right? And once again, Diamond's doing the Pokeballs on the eyes thing, saying, I'm perfectly fine. The man says, glad to hear you're good. Diamond then panics, saying, I'm not good yet. My map. Where's my map? Who took my map? The man then notices the Pokétech on his wrist, saying, excuse me, but it appears you've lost your map or in a bit of a pickle, yes? Diamond says, you hit the nail on the head. The man then says, but isn't that a bona fide Pokétech on your wrist? Yeah, right. The Pokétech should be able to tell you where you're going. He says you ought to be able to use its map function to help you find your way. Diamond stares at him blankly, then says, Poké what now? The man is taken aback, saying, "This right here on your wrist is a Pokemon Watch or Poketech for short. A high-performance mini-computer full of applications. Haven't you ever used it?" Diamond says, "I haven't used it once since I got it." God, he's a little too much like me. New piece of technology and I'm barely registering what to do with it half the time. Unless it's like my cell phone or something. The man shows Diamond the feature saying, "See, it's a digital watch. So you always know what time it is. And it's a calculator. So you can do difficult math problems in a snap. And don't forget the pedometer, so you can count how many steps you've taken. It also serves as a memo pad for taking notes and such. Observe." He draws a rice ball. Diamond says, "Wow, that's awesome." The man continues saying, "Now, as for that map, open up this application marked marking map. Where is it you wish to go?" The Diamond says, Lake Verity?" The man says, "Right now you're here in Jubilee City, and Lake Verity is over here." Diamond says, How do you know so much about my Poketech? Who are you anyway?" He says, kind of recoiling a little bit. The man says, "Tut tut. You think I know a lot about it? Well, of course I do." He shows off his own Poketech, saying, "Because I am the inventor of the Poketech. I am the president of the Poketech company." And the clowns put on some fanfare. "Why are you traveling with a bunch of clowns? It's kind of weird." "Okay, the Poketech president. Oh, okay, I remember this guy from the anime. Yeah, he had a son that we actually got to know. He looks very different here, though. Yeah, Landis. He had the Shinx. Okay. Actually kind of remember that episode. The Pokemon Watch is a hot item sold all over Sinnoh. For the modern man, there's the boys model that comes in blue, and for ladies with finer taste, we have red. Both colors always sell out fast." Diamond says, "There's only 2 colors?" The man says, "Only 2. Only 2. Diamond then says, "But Pearl had an orange one on." The man says, "Orange? Then that means I see now. You're one of the trainers Professor Rowan sent out into the field." Diamond says, "You know Professor Rowan?" The professor says, "Of course. It was about 2 months ago." I love how one of the clowns is painting the borders for the flashback. Cut back to Rowan talking with the president, saying, "I'd like an order to order 3 Poketechs." President says, "Thank you very much." Rowan then says, "They'll be traveling together. I don't want them to get confused over who is who, whose is whose." The president says, "In that case, how about I make 1 red, 1 blue, and 1 orange?" Rowan, munching down on some snacks, says, "Excellent. Let's also make it so that the Pokédex match them to create a set." The president says, "Wow, suddenly I feel so close to you. I have an idea." We'll cut back to modern day. "I was just about to go through town promoting my Pokédex. Think you could help me out?" I take that back. "I insist you accompany me. It'll be great for the ad campaign." Thomas says, and then he's accosted by the clowns. I don't want to talk too much about the clowns undressing a young boy, but now Diamond in a clown outfit. "Hi, clown," says, "I don't have time for this." The president says, "Nothing reaches a crowd better than meeting a happy customer who already owns and loves the product." Diamond says, "But the first time I used it was just 5 minutes ago." The president says, "Then fool them by reading the manual before we get there." He throws a manual at Diamond's face. He goes, "What?" He cut over to the Poké-Tech campaign, answer the quiz to win an new application. What application is that? I'd love it if it was a phone function. I keep harping on that. I don't know why. Someone says, "Come one, come all." Brought to you by the Poketech Company, maker of fine Pokemon watches sold everywhere. It's the president. He says, "Today I invite you to purchase your own model and try your hand at our special quiz. Get all the answers right, and I'll upload a new bonus application into your very own watch." A couple come up with the lady saying, "Ooh, show us, show us." The president says, "Step right up. First I'll ask you to press this button right here." Oh! Before he can press the button, the Poketech is swiped right out of his hand. The man says, "What the? It disappeared." The lady says, "I thought I saw something snatch the Poketech. It was pink and looked like an arm." It's definitely a Lickitung. Diamond says, "No, it wasn't an arm. It left something sticky behind." He touches it and says, "It feels like spit." The president is aghast, saying, "You mean saliva?" Diamond looks around saying, "That was no pink arm. I think it was a tongue." He spots more bits of spit on the ground, saying, "Look, there's more drips over here. If we follow the trail," and they follow it right to a Lickitung. The president says, "A wild Lickitung?" Diamond says, "Wow, I've never seen one before. A Lickitung. You must be the one who ate my rice balls in town map. You hungry or something? If you were on my Pokemon team, I'd name you Kit." The president says, "You're planning on capturing it?" Diamond says, "I'm gonna try." Well, This is the first time I've seen him actually want to go and catch a Pokemon. He sends out his Torterra, Munchlax, and Shieldon. Oh, but Lickitung uses Rollout. The president says it turned into a ball, and he bowls over all of Diamond's Pokemon. But Shieldon manages to, land on its feet just as Lickitung goes in for a tongue lashing. Ooh, smashing Shieldon right on the head. But that just makes Shieldon angry. Man, Shieldon is actually kind of pissy and flips Lickitung over. But this Lickitung, he's got some piss and vinegar in him. Managing to catch himself, grabs Shieldon by the tongue and slams it on the ground repeatedly, only to evolve into a Licky? Huh. I mean, Lickitung is already a weird-looking Pokemon, but Licky is even weirder looking. It looms over Shieldon. The president says it evolved. If you're serious about catching it, you better make it quick. Diamond says, I just remembered. You wouldn't happen to have a Pokeball handy by any chance, would you? He takes the president aback by this thing. I'm like, do you even have Pokeballs? And sure enough, he does not. I'm interested to see if he actually catches this Pokemon. For some reason, it keeps being Diamond to get more Pokemon first, more than anybody else. All right. Chapter 54, Luring in a Licky. As the president and the clowns throw their paws, at Diamond, saying, take them. These empty Pokeballs are all yours. Diamond says, thanks, as they just hit Diamond on the chest. But Licky, yeah, man, this thing is really pissy. And don't corner a Licky. He is ready to go. They keep getting fully evolved Pokemon somehow. Diamond pauses, and this is my first catch ever. Thinks to himself, let's see, how do I use this thing anyway? I think I just hit the Pokemon with it. And like the safari game at Pastoria Marsh, he throws the Pokeball, it bonks Licky on the head. Diamond goes, oh. And Licky gets infinitely more pissed, and then dives on the ground using Dig, much to Diamond's surprise. He says, it didn't work. It ran away. The president says, no. When it burrows into the ground, it means it's probably going to use Dig. And out comes Licky smashing into Shieldon with its tongue. As Diamond goes over to Shieldon, Licky dives back on the ground, the president saying, it went down again. As Diamond looks around going, uh-oh. It's Munchlax that gets hit next. Jeez, this Licky is a savage. Diamond rushes over to Munchlax. The clowns discuss amongst themselves. It's a hit-and-run style of attack. I didn't even know the clowns could talk. It digs down in one spot and lashes out its tongue from another. Then it does it again and again and again. How are you supposed to fight against that? The president says, well, you better find a way fast. Quit dilly-dallying and catch it already. Diamond panics a little. Yeah, he's not really used to being under this kind of pressure. The president really presses Diamond, saying, I've got a huge crowd gathered for my demonstration. You have to live up to the claims I've made about my watches. And Diamond says, whoa. And then he falls backwards, landing on his butt. He says, ow, okay. And then brings out the Poketech, and then he goes over to one of the holes Licky made, saying, here's the hole where it dug down. And then he steps back to the other one, saying, and here's where its tongue came out of. He then goes rummaging around in Munchlax's fur. The president questioning, what are you doing? Diamond says, Lax's favorite object is gone. Lax's iron ball. Oh, must have gotten taken when Lax was attacked. I guess that tongue can latch onto just about anything. My town map, the Poketech, Lax's iron ball, not just food. He pauses for a moment and then looks through the Poketech manual. The president and the clowns looking over his shoulder, and with him questioning, excuse me, why are you reading that now of all times? Now's not the time for studying. Diamond says, found it. The president questions, huh? And Diamond actually activates a function on his Poketech. Diamond tells the president, that Pokemon isn't hungry. The reason it's lapping everything up is because it likes to collect things. Ah, it's a hoarder, and it has to keep its collection somewhere. Okay. I thought at first he was going to track it through the Poketech, but he's just tracking the location of where it hides its stash. The president says, indeed. So you plan on finding that hiding place using the Poketech's dowsing map app. Diamond says, well, while you said that, I already found it, as it pings up on his mapping system. He jumps onto Torterra's tree, to get a vantage point and as he looks over, he manages to spot Licky's ill-gotten gain. He points the way for Torterra, saying, "There you go, True." And then he jumps down to Licky's hoard. He feels a rumbling in the earth. He says, "It's here," and he tells his Pokemon to spread out. He calls into the hole, "Hey, I got your number now. I like to collect things too, you know. But it's not right to take them from other people." The president, riding on the clowns to get a vantage point, says, "Are you sure you know what you're doing? If it nails you with that attack from below," Diamond says, "It's okay. I already know the next place it'll unleash its tongue." And as the ground starts to give way, Diamond calls out for Munchlax. Munchlax avoids Licky's attack and grabs Licky's tongue, holding it in place. The president says, "Your Munchlax grabbed its tongue. You predicted where it would attack from. Amazing." Diamond says, "The things this Pokemon collected are like its treasure, so naturally it would want to protect them. It always digs back to it with its back to its hiding place and flicks its tongue a certain distance away from where it dug down." As Diamond marches over to where Licky is now, he says 7 paces to be exact, showing the step meter. I forgot what it's called, on the Poketech. I'm actually glad the Poketech is actually getting some solid use. It's like they've had it for so long. I'm like, are y'all actually going to use those things? It just feels weird that you don't. Then again, I don't remember them using it too much in the anime too. But I at least remember a few times. Oh, the pedometer, there it is. The president says, "You measured the pattern of its attacks with the pedometer?" Diamond says, "Lax, keep a good hold on your thief this time." And he says, "Go," as he chucks a Pokeball. It lands on Licky's tongue, and Licky is captured. Nice! Good stuff. As Diamond picks up the Pokeball, the crowd, who has already assembled, goes wild. And it turns out he wasn't just clowning around. The couple from before, the male saying, "That was really something." Diamond says, "I just got lucky. I happened to notice I took 7 steps back when the president was yelling at me." Oh, it was a good example of the Poke. I commented on, like, man, he's actually using the Poketech to his advantage. But it was also a good demonstration of its applications. Oh man, that is so wildly clever writing. The rest of the crowd says, "He used the dowsing machine to find that hiding place?" The female of the couple says, "And he figured out the Pokemon's next moves using the pedometer." The male of the couple says, "He used the Pokédex applications to win." Another woman says, "Looks like those Pokédex really come in handy." And then the crowd starts crowding the clown, saying, "I'll take 1, make that 2, no 3, I want a blue one, I'll take a red one." The president says, "I knew it was a good invention from the start. I wanted to make something everybody could benefit from, and this is the result of all my hard work." Diamond says, "Well, looks like we're together from now on. Come on, let's give back all those stolen things to the rightful owners, okay? Here's the newest member of our team. Say hello to Kit." So once he actually thought of a nickname for it, he was determined to get it. It's actually nice because it looks happier now. The president says, "Even though it already evolved into a Licky." The clowns say, Mr. President, we're all sold out." The president says, "Huh? Sold out?" He shakes Diamond's hand, saying, "Oh, thank you so much. You really helped my promotional campaign. And you even caught that annoying Lickitung who chased me away from Lake Verity." The crowd says, "Huh?" The president says, "Well, yesterday I did a little sightseeing at Lake Verity to kickstart my campaign tour." Cut to a flashback of him saying, "So that's the beautiful sunset all the brochures rave about." He says, "But suddenly a group of Lickitung showed up. I had a little fun teasing this one in particular, and that's when, shucks, I really didn't know it would blow up into such a problem." Wait, he accosted one particular Lickitung? Oh my god, really, dude? Uncalled for. He's a bit of a menace, huh? But the crowd gets angry, saying, "You're the one who started all this trouble. What kind of grown man does a thing like that?" The president says, "Eek, forgive me," as they all start beating into him. Oh god. Thomas says, "Wait a minute." He pulls the president out of the mob, saying, "Hold on a second. Did you really go sightseeing at Lake Verity? Mr. President, did you?" The president says, "Oh, and yes, I did. Why?" Diamond says, "But I thought the only road to Lake Verity was blocked." The president says, "No, it was open. I got in without a snag. There was even a television film crew filming there. Diamond has a realization, saying they wouldn't let anyone through last time, but now they don't need to keep people away. In other words, they must be ready to attack the lake, and that means Team Galactic is near, he says, popping off his clown nose. it's silly yet ominous. All right. And again, first one to get a new Pokemon. Now Diamond is up to 4. And it seems to really come together. And it was nice just to see how capable Diamond can really be sometimes. He's not always quick on the uptake, but give him enough time and he will come up with a hell of a plan. Alright, chapter 55. Well met, Weepin' Bell. And now Diamond's out traveling with the Licky Licky. Oh, he's returning all the stuff. He tells the young lady, I believe this boot belongs to you. I'm here to return it. My Pokemon took it while playing. We're both very sorry, and he and Licky Licky bow. Aw, what a responsible kid. Do you really have time for this, though? He says, let's see, next on our list. How are you tracking these people down? Did everyone have their stuff written on it? Or their names written on their stuff? He hands over an umbrella saying, here. He hands over a small pair of glasses saying, this is yours. He hands over a small crown saying, we're sorry. And then he has a toy from that show he likes. The name is on the foot, just like Toy Story, saying, now this one, the owner's info is written on the foot, so they'll be easy to find. He hands it over to an old lady, the woman saying, how sweet. You're going around returning all these items with your Pokemon. That's admirable, but I don't need this anymore. My grandson stopped playing with it, so I threw it out. It must have been in the local landfill. You can have it if you like. Diamond is utterly shocked, saying, oh, really? Score! It's ours now, a toy from the hit animated series Pro Team Omega. I wonder if it still works. Let's give it a go. Lights on, animation on. He presses a button on the back, and he does the movements of the toy saying, speeding across the land, huh? The toy starts to speed up a little too fast, and next thing you know, it's running away. Diamond chases it with Licky Licky saying, oh, too much speeding. The toy then hits a rock, goes flying through the air and into a nearby tree. Diamond and Licky Licky use Torterra's tree, always using that tree, to get up onto the ledge near the tree that the toy landed in. Diamond saying, wow, it sure can run. Kit, can you reach it with your tongue? Almost there, but Licky Licky slips and Diamond falls with it. But the toy does fall on Diamond's head as he goes out. They find themselves in what looks to be a park. They look around, Diamond saying, a park, a beautiful park. Come on out, everybody. This might be trespassing. There was a wall there, dude. He looks around saying, a flower garden, a lake with a bridge. As they walk down, he says, a cobblestone path that just keeps going and going and going. Just keep walking. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Diamond then says, how do you get out of here? I mean, who makes parks this big? And much to the shock of all of his other Pokemon, he and Munchlax to sit down. I love that it's him and Munchlax who are just on the same vibe. The rest of his Pokemon are always taken aback with his silliness, as he just sits down with Munchlax saying, oh well, I guess we can have a picnic. Oh, Sebastian? Is he on Diamond's estate? I mean, Platinum's estate? Huh. As he's eating, he says, must be some kind of national park. Suddenly, lights from, what are they called again? Chinchou illuminate them as a carriage drawn by some Rapidash comes up. Sebastian, Platinum's butler, comes out saying, I don't recognize you. I've worked in Sandgem Town for 60 years. I know every person who lives here, or my name isn't Sebastian. This can only mean one thing. You're outsiders, suspicious characters. Diamond says, oh, so we're in Sandgem Town now. I guess we must have wandered into the next town over while returning all that stuff. Sebastian says, this is no laughing matter. I'm not about to allow intruders on the grounds while the master is away. I will resort to any means necessary to drive you off this property. I mean, he's not really doing anything. Oh, okay. Sebastian brings out a Weepin' Bell and has it. I'm not really sure what it does. It blasts them with something. Ugh. Sebastian says, that was gastro acid. Acid? Diamond and Licky Licky are doused. As Diamond says, ew, it's all wet and sticky. And people doing inappropriate things to these children. Sebastian says, you don't like it? Then permit me to wash it off for you. He tells the Chinchou to use water pulse, drenching Diamond. Sebastian says, feeling better? However, this attack is known to cause confusion, as we see Licky Licky is confused and it starts attacking Diamond and the rest of his Pokemon. Oh, he manages to wrap all of them up, lifting them up into the air. Diamond says, "Kid, it's me. Don't you recognize me?" Sebastian says, well, that's more like it. I negated Licky Licky's own tempo ability with gastro acid. And as Diamond and the rest of his Pokemon hit the ground, Sebastian uses a whistle to call in a bunch of Tyrogue, who surround Diamond and his Pokemon. Sebastian says, with my security system in place, nobody can break into this estate, period. Diamond says, estate? You mean this isn't a park? Sebastian points his finger at Diamond saying, preposterous. Don't you recognize the Berlitz estate? Diamond says, Berlitz? That's the lady's last name. And if this is Sand Gem Town, then is it the home of Lady Platinum Berlitz? Sebastian is aghast, saying, beg pardon? Did you just say Platinum? How do you know that name? Diamond says, I was with her until just a little while ago. We were headed for Mount Cornet. My name's Dia. Sebastian panics, saying, my lady's friend? I'm so terribly sorry. He and the Tyrogue bow. Oh, Kurt Kowtow, as the caption says. Oh my god, he's dressed like a Sultan later, being fanned by the Tyrogue. Oh my goodness. David says, what's with the getup? And the name's Sebastian, right? Sebastian says, is it not to your liking, Master Dear? I thought since your clothes were dirty. Diamond says, yeah, but they'll dry in no time. Sebastian says, don't stand up. Please just rest and relax. Make yourself at home and your Pokemon too. I'm terribly sorry I didn't recognize you. I had been informed about you and Master Pearl as well. I'm such an embarrassment to the Blitz family. You helped my lady thwart Team Galactic. I'm so grateful for everything you've done for her. Diamond says, don't mention it. Sebastian says, I assure you, I'm not usually so aggressive, but now, what with the master being attacked and my lady in danger as well, yeah, that actually makes sense. He'd be a little bit more on guard than usual. I'm terribly apprehensive of another attack. I have a vague premonition of some approaching disaster. Diamond takes a moment and says, I know what you mean. I've been feeling it too. Sebastian questions, really? Diamond says, we only have 1 day left before they attack the lakes. If everything goes according to plan, I bet Team Galactic will be here soon. Sebastian says, I wholeheartedly agree, Master Dia. Diamond says, where are Professor Rowan and his assistant? Sebastian says, still in Catalog City. They're recovering from the injuries they sustained from being kidnapped. It's still difficult for them to get around. They assure me they'll be home soon, but, oh man, the lasting damage, jeebus. The one thing this series does regularly is show that a lot of these situations have some, lasting damage to some of the characters. I mean, usually it's stuff that'll fade away with time, but it lingers for a hot minute. Sebastian and Diamond look out the window. Sebastian saying, that building out there is Professor Rowan's research lab. Diamond says, wow, it's so close to the estate. He then sees someone inside the lab saying, huh? The professor and Mr. Berlitz are away. Who's that? Sebastian says, oh, that's the professor's other helper, Roseanne. She's watching the lab while he's gone. Roseanne. I don't think we've seen her before. Oh, she is from the games. Interesting. But never appeared in the anime, though. Roseanne is in the lab saying, it's gone. Gone. I can't find it anywhere. He's looking through the notes with her Dunsparce, saying, I give up. Where did I leave that item? It was here a couple of days ago. I never took it outside with me or anything, so it couldn't have gotten lost. It must be here somewhere. I'll look for it later after I blow off some steam. It sure is cold, she says, walking outside. But then she looks up, seeing what looks to be snow. She says, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It is snowing after all, and it sure is beautiful. Okay, time to search some more. As she gets ready to go back inside, she hears a buzzing. She looks around saying, what's that noise? And she sees a bunch of Yanmega? Yeah, it's a whole bunch of Yanmega descending upon the lab. Oh god, is she about to come under attack? It's also weird that we're double dosing into Diamond's adventure. I thought we'd kind of be popping back and forth as time went on, but I guess they had another way of doing this. It's not bad. I mean, it took so long for us to get back to Diamond anyway, might as well stick with him for a little bit. Alright, Chapter 56, Yikes, Yanmega, Part 1. As the Yanmega descend upon, already forgot her name, Roseanne, in Professor Rowan's lab, he says, Bug-type Pokemon? A whole swarm of them? No. Yeah, you wouldn't want to see that bearing down on you. And as the Yan Mega zoom in, he rushes inside, trying to close the door. He says, "No, get away from me. I can't stand bug types." But they're already at the door, prying it open as she tries to close it. He says, with their knobby joints and wriggling torsos, "Yeah, you see, I'm not a big fan of bugs either. And those are huge and human size. I'd be freaked out too. And those prickly hairy legs and those eyes, you can't tell where they're looking." As they burst into the lab, she cries out, "Somebody save me!" But the sound of their wings vibrating is just everywhere. As she tries to shout, nothing comes out. She thinks, "It's so loud, I can't hear my own voice. The buzzing is so loud, no one can hear me." She rushes over to some kind of switch and hits she starts flipping on and off the lights. She thinks, "Somebody please notice the light." As the light flickers on and off, Diamond sees it, saying, "Sebastian, what's that?" The lights in the lab keep flickering on and off. Sebastian says, "That's odd. Something must have happened to Roseanne. I'll signal back to her." And he does so with his chin-chow. Diamond says, "Sebastian, I think we better just get to the lab ASAP." Sebastian says, "I agree with you yet again, Master Dia. This way." As they try to race off, they're stopped by Licky Licky. As Licky Licky opens the door, Diamond says, "What is it, Kit? Huh? We can go through the window." Licky Licky nods. And Licky Licky grabs onto a nearby tree branch, picks up Sebastian and Diamond, and just swings out with them. Sebastian crying out, "Oh my! Oh, man, this Licky Licky is intense!" Licky Licky bounds from tree to tree branch, making its way all the way to the lab in an instant. My God! Diamond says, "That was fast." Sebastian says, "Most excellent, Master Dia. What an agile Licky Licky you have." Diamond says, "Oh, look at that huge swarm," as they peek inside and see all the Yan Mega. Sebastian says, "This must be what she was trying to tell us." They rush in. Sebastian calling out, "Roseanne!" Roseanne says, "Sebastian." Sebastian asks, "Are you hurt?" But the buzzing is too loud. Roseanne says, "Huh? What did you say?" Sebastian says, "What happened here?" Roseanne tells him, "I don't know. They came out of nowhere. I know I'm supposed to guard the lab while Professor's away, but I just don't do bug-type Pokemon." But the Yan Mega starts swooping in and, clawing at them. Licky Licky manages to defend the most, but they do manage to nick Diamond's little turban thingy. Diamond then seems to notice, is that a camera? Oh, it's Team Galactic. Yep, it's one of those galactic drones. Diamond manages to spot one of them on top of the Yan Mega. It's probably commanding him through that. And Licky Licky's been an MVP, though. It tanked those Yan Mega attacks. Diamond clenches his fist, saying, "Of course. That sense of impending disaster you had, Sebastian? I'm sure Team Galactic sent this swarm here. They attacked Professor Rowan's lab and Lady's father, and they have their sights set on the lakes of Sinnoh. He and his Pokemon, as well as Sebastian and his Weepinbell, raise their fists in the air as Diamond says, "Come on, let's go and get rid of these pests." Roseanne asks, "And who are you?" Diamond says, "Hi, Roseanne. My name's Dia." Roseanne says, "That's not what I meant. I meant, what are you?" Sebastian stops her, saying, "Don't worry about him. Just sit back and watch." Roseanne thinks to herself, "I sure hope this kid knows what he's doing." What the heck did they do? The Yan Mega then vibrate their wings together? I'm not really sure what they're doing, but they managed to shock Diamond, Munchlax, and Weepinbell. They hit the ground hard. As Diamond looks over to the worried Roxanne, he does a little goofy Pokeball on the eyes thing. He says, "Don't worry, everything's under control." And then looks through his notes, saying, "Let's see, what do I do now?" Roxanne is aghast, saying, thinking to herself, "He's reading a notebook? What's with this kid? Look, he needs prep time." Diamond thinks back to Pearl, telling him, Diamond, I'm headed for Lake Valor. You take care of Lake Verity." Diamond says, "Gotcha." Pearl then reaches into his bag, saying, "Also, this notebook is where I wrote down all our routines and one-liners. And ever since we swore to protect Lady, it turned into a battle practice journal. I want you to have it. Read it every day." "All right, the battle practice journal." Diamond says, "I will." Cut to present day. The Yan Mega are closing in. Roxanne says, "I can't take it anymore. Stop that awful noise." But, okay, I guess it's Licky Licky uses Power Whip to smack away the Yan Mega. I don't know if I've heard of Power Whip before. Diamond says, "This ringing isn't really a sound, Roseanne. It's a shock wave. It happens when they flutter their wings." Roxanne questions, "How do you know that?" He says, "I just read it. Know all about these Pokemon we're dealing with thanks to this." He shows off the Pokedex. Roxanne says, "The Pokedex? Professor Rowan and Professor Oak designed that together." "Professor Rowan gave you one?" Diamond nods. Roxanne thinks to herself, a Pokedex? I can't believe this kid has one. Diamond says, Roxanne, where are the exits in this lab? Roxanne says, that's the only one, pointing to the door. Diamond says, okay, so much for you making a mad dash for the door, but I have an idea. Where's your Dunsparce, by the way? Dunsparce is already digging a hole into the floor. Diamond says, great, it's drilling a hole with its tail. As soon as it's big enough, hide inside. Roxanne does just like that, saying like this. Diamond says, yep. Those Yanmega are Ogre Darner Pokemon. Or Ogre Darner? What does that mean? Okay, yeah, that's in their Pokedex entry. What does that mean? Tarantula Hawk Boss. Oh no! Oh no, I did not need to see this. Nope, not looking any further into that. Forget I asked. Diamond says, I'm pretty sure a little speaker camera thingy is what's controlling them. If I can just knock it out, we should be safe. He looks around trying to find it again, and as he manages to spot it, he calls out to Torterra saying, Razor Leaf. And as Torterra already fires, he finishes saying, Diamond Special Mach 1 and only. It seems like it's going right for the camera too. And that's a surefire attack. I gotta say though, looking at the map this time, this is probably the most least organized that the map has ever been, with everyone being at the 3 very separate locations. And it helps you keep track of things, but man, they're far out there. Alright, the last chapter of this volume as well as this episode, chapter 57, Yikes Man Mega, Part 2. And Diamond says, Razor Leaf, Diamond Special Mach 1 and only. But as he fires towards the camera, oh! One of the Yanmega's wings manages to block the attack. Diamond says, uh-oh. Even though I put all of the power into a single leaf, that thing still managed to repel my Razor Leaf attack. All the Yanmega keep getting in the way. If we don't nail them with an attack soon, we'll be surrounded. Here goes. He whispers something over to Licky Licky, saying, let's do it. And as Roseanne watches, Licky Licky is a little wobbly on its feet. Roseanne says, thinks to herself, I got a bad feeling about this. Why is he getting closer to the swarm? Something's not right here. As a scientist, I feel it in my gut. There's something about this new enemy we have yet to figure out. But what? I have to figure it out. I have to. He looks over to the downed Munchlax and Weepinbell. Oh, Iron Ball. He dropped it. Roxanne looks at it saying, oh, that Iron Ball has Munchlax. His Munchlax was carrying. It's all scratched up. That's it. That must be it. Their attacks aren't normal. The first hit Dia took. Yeah, you see that Diamond's clothes are all scratched up. Says she thinks ripped his clothes. So it was an external attack, like a slash attack. However, the next attack they launched didn't cut or wound the Munchlax or Weepinbell. Instead, the Weepinbell looks like it's leaking, and the Iron Ball the Munchlax hit under his fur is all scratched up, which can only mean that was an internal attack. Of course, the shockwave Dia mentioned, the shockwave passed right through the skin and does its damage on the inside. Roxanne calls out, don't, Dia. It's no use. Don't rush in. Don't be reckless. If you take another direct hit from them, your Pokemon will get, but the sound of their wings go off again. He tries to call out Jumbo from the inside out. That's a lot more dangerous than any cuts or scrapes. But she thinks to herself, my voice isn't reaching him. The shockwave. She calls out to Dia as both he and Licky Licky are hit by the attack. As several devices, vials, instruments in the lab all shake, shatter, break, blow up. It's just everything. Sebastian and Roxanne look on in shock. As when the smoke clears, Diamond is waving, saying, Roxanne, thanks for the warning. I heard you loud and clear. Roxanne's eyes slip down as we see the camera in Licky Licky's grasp. Diamond points to it, saying, and look, you got it, the speaker camera thingy. Roxanne and Sebastian are shocked. As Jesus, Licky Licky just flexes it, smashes it. God, this is an intimidating Licky Licky. My God, I've never been impressed by Licky Licky before, but this thing, Jesus. Suddenly all the Yanmega come to, look at each other like, what the heck are we doing here? And they just fly out the door. Roxanne says, now that you've destroyed that mechanical device, the Yanmega are leaving. Diamond and Sebastian shake hands. Diamond saying, we did it. Sebastian says, well done, Master Dia. Roxanne then shakes him, saying, but how come you're okay? You took a direct hit from that attack. Diamond says, kid shielded me. Roxanne says, then how come your Licky Licky is okay? Diamond says, because we knew that their attack was focused on our insides, so he put up a shield. Licky Licky sticks out its tongue. Oh, what the heck? What did it have in its mouth? Roxanne looks at it saying, what's that on its tongue? Diamond pats Licky Licky's belly saying, it's like a bulletproof vest for your gut. Kit swallowed it. At first, I wasn't sure what to do either. I've never faced even one Yanmega before, but when you come across an opponent for the first time, you just got to identify their special characteristics. So I checked my Pokedex. I figured it'd give me a hint at least. Good thing I did. As the Pokedex reads, Yanmega, the Orgurdarner Pokemon. God, that's so weird. By churning its wings, it creates shockwaves that inflict critical internal injuries to a foe. Diamond says, it says by churning its wings, it creates shockwaves that inflict critical internal injuries. So when they started beating their wings really fast, I knew I had to keep an eye out for that shockwave. Roxanne says, you came up with that strategy just like that? Well done. Sebastian says, oh, that's why I just told you just to sit back and watch. We see Mars at the controls this time around. It's kind of like she's got a Wiimote. Well, the stick that goes to the Wiimote. He says, come on, stupid thing. The picture and sound both died. I guess it's busted. He's sitting next to her ugly. She drops and steps on the stick saying, I thought that I'm through with this dumb thing. Stupid Saturn and his annoying gadgets. The only reason he left me in charge was because he's working on the lake plan. But did we learn anything useful from this? No. I knew we should have taken a more hands-on approach. She continues to grind her heels on the device, saying we searched for Professor Rowan's lab for intel about legends or mirages, but nothing. The chair she's on descends through the lab, or wherever they're in. She looks around saying, what? We've arrived? Oh, I guess she's being communicated to by the grunts. Now she descends several stairs in the chair that she's in. She then steps out saying, excellent. Oh, she was in that weird windmill thingy. Oh, I didn't know that thing. That is such a weird thing to ride around in. You arrived at Lake Verity, back at Professor Rowan's lab. Roxanne asks, still, you're lucky you had that item to shield you. Diamond says, actually, we were on our way to return it to its rightful owner. Roxanne says, return it? Diamond says, Kit accidentally picked it up for its collection. That's why it had it with it. It's the last object we need to return, but we don't know who the owner is. Roxanne says, hey, let me take a look at that. He says, aha, this is the protector item I've been looking for. It's a very important item related to Pokemon evolution. Licky Licky stole it and now it's all sticky with drool. Unacceptable, he says, flailing about. I don't know. It's a pretty good trade-off considering that they saved you. Protector. Interesting. Oh, it allows Rhydon to evolve into Rhyperior. Interesting. Oh, that's the thing that's usually around Rhyperior's body. And a lot of the little pads and shells and stuff. Oh, okay. Roxanne then thinks to herself, but still, the end Licky Licky saved us, so I guess it's okay. Sebastian says, what's the matter, Roseanne? I keep saying Roxanne, but it's Roseanne. But Diamond then sneezes and his clothes fall to ribbons. He got more cut up than you would think. Roseanne says, your clothes got more cut up than I realized, right? Sebastian rushes off saying, I'm so sorry, Master D. I'll get you a change of clothes right away. Diamond says, oh, don't worry about it. My house isn't far from here. I'll just change there. Roseanne says, huh? You live nearby? Diamond says, yep, in Twinleaf Town. He says, racing off. Oh, he's gonna go visit his mom. Joanna! We finally get to actually see Joanna. Meanwhile, as Mars exits her windmill, friggin' copter thingy, he says to her grunts, hey, give me those data files. As they hand them over, she says, temperature, humidity, do we really need all this? Let's see. The setup point is all right. Setup point is all right. And we know what to do after the explosion. This means the three lakes, Lake Valor, Lake Acuity, and Lake Verity, are ready to go. Today's the day our plan goes into effect, but we only built one galactic bomb. Only Cyrus knows which lake it'll be detonated at. Oh, that's how it is. Huh. I hope he sets it off soon. Bomb time. And then she's twirling around and then spots a Yanmega saying, huh? They're back. Meanwhile, with Pearl and Rad Rickshaw riding their bicycle built for two, Pearl says, Rad Rickshaw? Rad says, yeah. Pearl says, you know that giant statue we saw as we were leaving Eternia City? I've been meaning to ask, what is that thing? Rad says, there's not much to it, really. Just a statue, been there forever. This is my grandpa's days. or it doesn't have a name. Everyone just calls it the Eternia Pokemon statue. Pearl says, but it's kind of impressive, isn't it? Rad laughs, saying, when I was a kid, there used to be a plaque on it. 2 plaques, actually. And Pearl questions 2? Rad says, yeah. One talks about D something, and the other talks about P something. Pearl questions, what did they say about them? Rad says, it went something like this. The creation of D, the giver of time. In laughter there is tears, and likewise it is with time. The same time flows on, for it is the blessing of D. The other said, the birth of P, the creator of parallel dimensions, alive yet not alive. Everything drifts in space, derived in the same universe. It is the blessing of P. That's a lot to have remembered after all this time. All the older folk in Eternia City have those passages memorized by heart. He sounds famous for it. Oh, okay. Pearl seems to realize something, thinking to himself, a Pokemon who creates time, and a Pokemon who creates space. Rad then says, but what's all this have to do with Team Galactic's evil plot? Pearl questions, huh? Rad says, I mean, those guys who took me prisoner knew that my family lived in Eternia City for generations. And they tried really hard to extract any info I had about the statue. Wait, what? Wait, what? About the statue? That's why they were after you? Pearl says, what? Flashback to when Rad was captured. One of those speakers is with the galactic grunts, the little drone thingies. Rad says, help, someone, I already told you everything I know. Osiris on the other line of the drone says, is that true? Isn't there something else you're not telling us? About Dialga and Palkia? Dialga and Palkia. Finally, the names are there. Oh, really? And that's the end? Okay, I guess that's better than nothing. Well, all of our heroes have gotten, if only just a little stronger, you know? Pearl, Diamond, Platinum, they've all gotten more Pokemon. It's really capable Pokemon, honestly. There's a conspiracy going on about the galactic bomb. Everyone, for the most part, is getting closer, though Diamond feels, no, because the lake is near where they live. So it makes sense that Diamond is making his way back home, more or less. But Team Galactic is also nearing the lakes, too. It's a day away from when the bomb will be activated. The fact that it'll only be activated in one location. But I'm still not sure how the Lake Guardians correspond to summoning Dialga and Palkia. It's an interesting conundrum. Can't wait to find out more. There's not really much more to talk about. We've just seen how capable everybody is. Mostly Diamond. Because, yeah, it's just all been Diamond now that I think about it. You know, Diamond's big adventure, with only Pearl tacked on with the very end. But it was nice to really see that Pearl, you know, while he does still have his hang-ups, he's still very capable. And while he does have to rely on what his friends have done for him, that's not a bad thing. You know, if it helps him improve in the long run, that's not bad. But I'm interested to see what happens next. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din and hope to see you later. So then, take care. Bye-bye.